Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very welcome back to the channel. And this is a Saturday ramble. So get a cup of tea, pause this for a minute, and come back to it. And when you come back, hit the like button. If you don't like it at the end of the show, you can take it off again. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and half of you are not subscribed. So just do it. All it's free. And what it does is just let you know when a new video comes up. That's it. It's not complicated, but it really, really helps us. And if you like a wee comment, if you'd like to say something, good or bad, doesn't matter, just say it politely. That would be brilliant. That would be absolutely brilliant. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, as I do on a Saturday, I'm sitting down and I write a couple of things, of things that I maybe hear and I don't agree with, or I do agree with, or I want to elaborate on. But today, the first thing I wrote down is the knife world getting bland. Now, that's a really big, sweeping gesture of a saying, isn't it? And is the knife world getting bland? No, but I'll tell you what was getting bland to me a couple of years ago was collecting modern knives. Now, this is not a rundown on anybody that collects modern knives. Not at all. Just for me, I found myself getting wrapped up that every knife I was buying, there was an element of the one before it. I just wasn't seeing any strives and especially on knives that are sort of budget to mid-range. They were making lots of them. There's lots of different companies making them, but they're all really samey to me at the moment. And look, that's just me. But that's not what this is a point. What this is a point is, I want to invite people in out there that's maybe just always been into lock-in knives, modern knives, big knives. I want to invite you over to the dark side, because and here's for why. I want to show you why the dark side, and by the dark side I mean traditional knives. They're not just meant for the UK. These traditional knives are meant to be used anywhere in the world. They're not because of any law. They're just knives that have been made in this way for centuries. And they're good. And they're worth having. And if you've not tried them, you're really, really missing out. One, your bank balance will probably be much better if you come over to the dark side, because we don't spend as much on knives as such, unless you want to buy many knives, but usually our next and greatest knife is reasonably priced. And that's the difference, because the price seems to be putting me off the lock-in knives and the modern knives more and more, because it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, when the Chinese companies are starting to charge more for their knives than the American-made companies, it's flipping ridiculous. I mean, everybody moans about China, but they're the best salesmen out, because everybody seems to be falling for it. And I love Chinese knives. But over on the dark side, their prices are competitive with what's there. And that's what I like. And in fact, a lot of the times they may be cheaper. And that's what I like, because their commitment to traditional knives, which non-locking slip joints, is 100%. They're giving it 100%, and we're getting that quality now on the traditional side. So I'll invite you over, not just for the Chinese, but for every other maker that's out there that makes traditional knives. They're not just for the UK or European countries. In America, if you're a case man, you know that. If whatever company you like in America, they're making knives for everybody, not just for European laws. Anyhow, enough of that. And I'll tell you where this came from this morning. Last week, I bought this little Rough Rider. Very beautiful little knife, except for the double nail neck. Never understand why they want to do that. But this is just a beautiful spear point working blade. Absolutely gorgeous. In bone, Appaloosa bone. This is the colours of the Appaloosa horse. I just think as a jackknife, this is absolutely phenomenal. And I have used it this week plenty and enjoyed every moment of it. Half stop, not the biggest spring, but then again, I haven't done any. I've just been using this the way it came out of the box. I mean, it'll get some oil in it and give it a good working through, and that usually improves the Rough Rider because there's usually a lot of dirt in the pivot. But for this week, I just wanted to use it as it was, and I have loved it. Fit and finish is amazing. And these black liners, they've done it and it comes all the way around the knife, all the way. It just accentuates how beautiful this knife is. Fit and finish, outstanding. Blade centering, outstanding. And this knife was about £26 or something. 440A. Great for an EDC pocket knife. Easy sharpened. Does it hold an edge for years? No, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, when you strop your knife, as you should, you don't need to sharpen it for days. You know, the stropping, days, maybe weeks, depending on how much you use it. Strop does it. So I've been enjoying that. And I enjoyed it so much that I bought another one, which we'll talk to at the minute. But another knife that I've got in, this one's provided to the channel. This is a Rosecraft. And this is the cotton sampler. This is in black sandalwood, which is fun. There is a grain you can see through it. It's not going to come out in my camera here, but in the daylight, it looks fantastic. So this is a cotton sampler. And I have been given this thought because I've got to do a review on it. And look, years back, I had cotton samplers and I enjoyed them. They were a nice little knife there, but it wasn't a knife that I ended up using. So fast forward 5 or 6 years from I got my first one, I've got this one. And as cotton samplers go, this is the best of the ones that I've had so far from then. This is the best of the one because it's not over-exaggerated. Some of the cotton samplers have a big over-exaggerated belly, which is not usable. This is a usable knife. You know, if you just take that and that is a really usable blade. It's got a point on it. It's got a really usable blade. For me, this is a pattern for my collection, and I'm keeping this in my collection. The other one has already gone to Justin, but I don't have a cotton sampler now, so I want this in my collection. And I appreciate Rosecraft, Rosecraft Rough Rider. A couple of companies do them, keeping a pattern alive, because that's also important. And I think when we get over to the dark side, as I'm going to call it today, the traditional knives, keeping the older patterns alive is just so important. Yes, by all means, innovation is great. And this is an innovative knife. There's not a lot of people doing this. So you're hitting a clientele that some people maybe never seen one, not sure what to do with one. And there's plenty of people out there who could give you an example of the ways that they use this knife. I use this for all sorts of things. Look, to be honest with you, and I know we get it for nothing, and I know that I'm not meant to say anything. I'm not given any script to say with these knives are sent to me. At this moment, how I feel about it, I think it's a great pattern that I want to have in my collection. I understand this was for putting in the cotton bales, stretching the cotton over here to see whether it was ready, whether the cotton was good in the bales that were doing it. So I understand it. I understand what they're nice for. And I like that. And I like that little bit of history. And it's nice to bring out and have a chat with. But for me, as a knife that I'd want to carry, I'm missing this much of a knife. You know, this gap here where they would have done the stretch over it, it's not sharp. And I would love to make a very, very simple thing that I think could bring this up to the modern world. And maybe I'm off my rocker, I don't know. But what about turning this into, you know, like an electrician's knife? You have the little curved part in there for stripping wire. What about putting that in there? Instead of just having it blank, and of no use to me whatsoever. If you had the little, you know, that crescent-shaped blade put in there, that would give this knife another purpose. And it's still going to keep that shape, or this part of the knife. It was there for a reason. But putting a little, I just think that would be one way of changing it. If you can think of other ways to change this knife without taking the pattern away, because I want to keep the pattern, but that's a nice way to just maybe enhance the pattern for modern day use. And it means that if I want to cut rope, I'm not having to bring the rope up here to cut it. I can just drop it in here and cut it. I can also strip wire with it. because we all do that about the house. So it does give it an extra little vibe for me. Anyway, that's it. I find it really hard, but as far as fit and finish goes, you're not going to get better, and especially at this price. It is immaculate. It came clean inside, back spring, no gaps whatsoever, flush in all three positions, half stop. And again, this I've used this. It's not very, very snappy, but it's snappy enough. You can pinch grip it. It sounds good. The walk and talk sounds good. Is it centered? You bet your bottom dollar it is. It's centered. So Rosecraft come out with this, and again, this excites me because they're not they're not a company that has to go for, the next latest greatest thing. They have that tradition heart. It's made in modern materials. It's made in China, but it's got modern materials. This is in D2, which outlasts nearly every other traditional blade steel that you'll get from, manufacturers. It's fantastic. It's just a super offering. So, and this is under £70. All these knives we're going to talk about today are under £70, and most of them by a long way. This is 26 in Heine Haynes. This is on Heine Haynes. I'm not sure what the price is. I think it's 60 something or maybe 70. Not sure. But value for money, absolutely all there. So I ordered another one of these, and I'm going to show you it, and I'm going to tell you for why I ordered it. I ordered this because I hadn't ordered a Rough Rider for ages, if you didn't follow my last video, and I'd forgotten just how good they were, and their standard has increased from I stopped buying them, which was only a sort of couple of years ago because I had plenty, but what I've done is I've given them all away, and I only had a few left. I thought, well, this year I'm going to start building up my Rosecraft collection again. So again, comes in this box. And what I ordered this time, because this is my favourite pattern, is a Barlow. And this is the Cinnamon Stag. How flippin' lovely a Barlow is that? Nickel silver bolsters. Beautiful black liners again. I absolutely adore that. There is not a gap in it whatsoever. Flush in all three positions. Just a lovely clip point. Small clip point in this one. It's a small knife. This is what is it? It will be about 1, 2, 3 1/4. So 3 1/4. It's a smallish Barlow, because most Barlows are around the 3 1/2 to 3 5/8. But this is perfect in the hand. When I'm up in the ricasso, I can get 4 fingers on it because it's quite fat, and it's got a depth to it. So it keeps my hand completely stocked. I love this. I just love it. You get the matte strike nail nick. You get a nice swedge on the blade. It came really sharp, which is great. Again, these Northwoods, for goodness sake, Rosecraft, they come incredibly sharp. This isn't far behind it, I'll have to say. So this is one that I really just is blowing me away this week, and I can't wait to spend this week carrying it. And the reason Barlows, I love Barlows. So this one was, I think, again, around that £25 mark. I can't remember. It was either 23 or 25 or something like that. I just put it in as an add-on when I was buying something else, because why not? That's the way I built my Rosecraft. God, I've got it completely wrong today, haven't I? My Rough Rider collection up in the beginning was adding one on when I was buying another knife and just building up that collection. Because believe you me, this might be D2. Oh no, this is not D2. That might be D2. And this is 440A. But they both are perfect for my daily use. So I got it because I like Barlows. And then I thought, well, what other Barlows can you buy in and around that price range? None. These in the £20 mark are just, there's nothing out there that's going to beat these, in my opinion, for the consistency, for their fit and finish, for the blade steel. The next thing I can move up to is an Arthur Wright. Listen to that. And you are moving up. This is way below what it should cost. There's an Arthur Wright, and you can see them together. The Arthur Wright's a bigger knife. Not a whole lot bigger, but it is bigger. Bigger blade, more beautiful clip point, because it's a British clip point. And yeah, I can be biased. I'm British. But, you know, a superb knife, C75 steel. Again, much like 448, does it last forever? No, but it stops up really well when you've finished work. And then where do you go? And then this is where it starts to get exciting. Rosecraft came in and they brought this out this year. And this is, look at that Barlow. They moved the fat centre that you get in the British one, and they moved it up here. And I love that fatter part up here. It just looks amazing. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Can you see that there? This fat part here, this is really hard because they're sort of different type blades. Can you see this bit here is fatter than this? I really like that. But I like this one because you get that upswept look on the end of the blade, which gives it that British sort of look. But this is fatter than this one. But just two beautiful clip points, two different companies. And there's Rosecraft now coming in, and they have got this out there. And again, this is about £70. I can't remember what the exact price was, between 60 and 70. Fabulous knife, D2, upgrade in steel. And what's it up against? You know, is there anything else? Well, yeah, there's case. And I got this case this year. And this is a case Barlow. Again, a little bit smaller. It has the writing on the bolster, which I love, as does the Rosecraft. I like that on my Barlows. Fit and finish in this case is immaculate. And I ordered this sight unseen from Moonraker. Absolutely stunning. I love this blade. I love this green barnboard effect. You can see on the, there you go, you can see that effect. This is, all right, the colour is really garish and green, but I just love it. Absolutely love it. Again, lovely. This is the case Barlow, which is a shorter, squatter Barlow, which I love. You don't have to just love one. You can love many. But again, this was under £70, if I'm right. You know, just under £70. I think this one's just under 70. But Case and Rosecraft are about the same price now. The difference being, you know, up until now, is that Rosecraft's fit and finish has been much better than Case. On the whole. Not always, just on the whole. These two I bought, well, this one I got given, but sight unseen, I bought this sight unseen, and all four of these have fit and finish that's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And that's what I mean about, you know, are we thinking things are bland? They're not. Here's 4 different Barlow knives, 4 different materials, and 4 different blade shapes, which is the thing that I'm really trying to get across. They're all different blade shapes. And I just, this is the joy. I mean, when you get a bug out, you'll get a choice of, you know, 2. You'll get the drop point and you'll get the different blade shape. You know, but with ours, you can get multiple layers of a pattern that you love in different blade shapes, different handle materials, different finishes. These are all Barlows. None of they don't look the same, even in the small Arthur Wright Barlow with a smaller bolster, the smaller case knife. These two are very similar, but they're not the same. And that's the joy. I don't get bored at looking at Barlows as long as there's something slightly different. And it's, you know, a collection of colour and wood and feel and touch. And that's what, for me, get over to the dark side and start to use your hands, start to use your senses, start to use your imagination to what these original knives were made for. And that's what draws me in. It's that going back in history. I'm not that futuristic looking. I don't like your sci-fi movies and things like that. It bores me to death. Live in the present or remember the past. I don't know what that future is. I just don't think TV producers know any more than I do. So it just doesn't appeal to me at all. I have imagination, but I like imagination where I can relate to what has happened like the past. And traditional knives give me that. And this is just me. They give me that step back in time. And I'm just, you know, I'm actually getting into fixed blades in much the same way. I mean, fixed blades came before the traditional knives. So it really is. But the other things that I'm looking out for, like the Rosecraft, I said I wasn't keen on this, and I'm not keen on it. But as a knife, It's outstanding. The quality, the fit and finish, outstanding. Outstanding. It's just not a pattern for me. And I just want to make that clear so that, I mean, I know a lot of the times that I say these Rosecraft blades are out of this world. And they are. That still is. It's just not for me. And that's okay too. That's absolutely all right. Here's the one before it. The Sodbuster. Is this for me? You wouldn't believe how much this is for me. Listen to that walk and talk. That is beautiful. Not a particularly strong pull, but you don't need it. Look at that Sodbuster. It's in wood, but it's also cross-hatched on both sides of the wood. The wood is stunning when you get it out in the light. This maybe doesn't do it justice, but it is stunning. D2 blade. Again, how many Sodbusters do you own that have got D2 on them? This is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. That typical Sodbuster pattern. Now, this isn't a Sodbuster, but it's the equivalent. It doesn't have a bird's eye pivot, but it has a big pivot, which I like. Everything about this screams, I need to have one of them. And you do. If you haven't got one, you do. And if you like this pattern, go and get it. But as for Barlows, you should always be looking for Barlows. And that's just my opinion, because that's my freaky get out clause. But again, let's keep the price. Now, these prices are all under 70. This is an Arthur Wright, and this is it is an amazing sheep's foot. And this one has the red liners. This is the Heine special. You only get this one with the red liners from Heine. What an amazing knife this is. This is super. You know, between these two, and you can see there's not that much difference in the blade length. There's a bit more reach in this one, but, you know, 1/4 of an inch difference in the cutting edge. That's not insurmountable by this. Absolutely stunning. This one, instead of giving you a belly, gives you the point down. So if you're doing your draw cuts, every knife has a different meaning. Every blade shape has a different meaning. And learning them is such a nice thing. And when I mean learn them, I don't mean learning their names. Learning what they do is amazing. Finding out what your blade shape can do. Because that relates to your modern knives, your locking knives. You need to learn what blade shape you like. And hopefully you'll have more than one or two. There's lots of blade shapes out there, but for me, readily available is much easier and cheaper to learn it when you're in the traditional style. And do you want to know something? I don't know many people that have popped over to this dark side and have stayed and maybe shared dark and light, because it just opens up another new avenue of collecting, which isn't going to break the bank. These are not, you can buy 300, 400, 500 and upward knives in the traditional game, but most of the working knives that you want to carry are £70 and below. And I know that's the same with your locking knives, but this to me, once you get over, you find out, well, we talk about soul. These knives have a bit of soul in them. Doesn't matter what country they're from, because the knife doesn't know what country it's from. The pattern has a soul. Not the person making the knife and not the person, where it came from. It's the pattern, everything that goes with it. You can absolutely delve into that as deep as you like. I don't particularly go deep, but I love listening to other people who have spent the time, their good time and hours in it, and then sharing that with me on YouTube videos. I get pleasure in that. So there we go. A walk on the dark side. If you haven't come over, you're very welcome. Come on over. And if you like this wee channel, again, give it a like, subscribe and comment. And if you'd like to help the channel out with a cup of tea, go down below in the description. You'll see how you can do that. But before I go, I just want to say my 2 Randy coins, Slipjoint Sawyer, got these made up for Randy. And they're just some sayings that, for those who knew Randy, you'll know them. But if you don't, you'll get to know them. So, this one is, I hope you shit your pants. It's just a Randy meme. And every effing day, mate. That's what he used to say to Mikey. And on the back, you have Randy's logo. Actually, you don't have on that one. Oh, it's on the front, that's why. But these wooden coins are £5 for the 2 delivered. Slippy he's got a few left, quite a few left, because he bought a whole lot, but they're going like hotcakes. I mean, these are not going to be remade again. Well, I wouldn't have thought so, not unless they sell out before the end of the time. But and by the end of the time, I mean the draw and everything we're doing for Randy, which is going to be on the 19th of this month. We'll be doing a draw. There's about 16 knives in it that will let you know in time. It's £10 an entry. You can enter as many times you like, but there's 16 knives, including quite a few custom knives and other knives that are just beautiful. There's nothing rubbish in there. It's just 16 really good knives at the moment. Now, if you go on to Slippy's channel, you'll find out how to get to it, how to get to where you enter. There's also, we've been doing a running collection, just a financial collection for his mum, and it had to run for a month, which is up on the 19th. If you don't want to enter into the draw, and maybe that's not your thing, if you want to just put in, $5, $10, pounds, whatever you've got free, this money is all, 100% of everything we've done for Randy is for his mum and family at this time, to just make life that little bit easier for them. And just get involved if you can, please. It really does help. And we spoke to Joy, his mummy, and a couple of his sisters. They're just over the moon. And as mummy says, like, it has made, the fact that Randy had so many friends has been a joy to her. Well, there you are, I've got her name again, because the woman has got a heart, and we now know where Randy got his from. So please do that. Slippy or Thrifty, if you're in America, if you want to go on there, Thrifty can take your donations on there. It's just a matter of contacting him. If you want any of the other things, ask Thrifty. I'm not sure if he can do the coins over in America, but they'll get posted to you no matter what. All right. Take care, folks. Paddy's away. I hope you find this a little bit interesting. And if you haven't tried the dark side, come on over. It's not that warm down here. Take care. Bye-bye now.